My name's Aubrey Rogers, and I am the Chair of Applied Arts and Media Technologies here at KVCC at the Center for New Media.
So how would you describe your art and the kind of work that you create?
My art is a combination of traditional art with technology. I like that idea of you don't know where the technology starts and stops, and the same thing with the traditional. You'll see that organicness that comes with the traditional art, but then using computers and different types of technology to enhance it, to still make it feel organic, but have a different feel of how is that done. It's very fantastical, creative, and really enjoying the combination of art and technology.
Yeah. So have you always been a creative person? You know, have you been into art since you were a kid?
My parents said I should be a marine biologist. I could be anything I wanted as long as it was in the maths and sciences. And I saw Lion King when I was in high school. And that next day, I went to my honors biology class and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I wanted to make people feel stuff with illustrations and animation. So I shifted in high school, actually, to be in the creative world.
So not only do you do, your own individual art, but obviously also you're an educator here at KVCC. Can you tell us kind of how you fell into the role of teaching this next generation and what that is kind of like for you?
Yeah, so I was at art school, thought I wanted to work for Disney, and I had this Saturday morning art job where I was an assistant for Saturday morning programs for kids. And the executive director of COSI in Columbus was the person who ran the program, and he said, "You're really good at this teaching thing." And I said, "No, I don't want to be a teacher. That's what my mother is. I don't want that." And he kept pushing, and he said, "I think you really like this aspect. You really like helping, figuring out other people's stories versus just going off to make a story." And he was really right. I give him a lot of credit in that I like helping other people figure out how to tell the story that they want to do. Long story short, I found myself as a teacher, like my mom, but doing my own thing. And so trying to showcase how you can be an animator and your goal can be to work for a big company, or you can do it on your own and have your own creative stories and figure out how to do it. All right. Hey, character design class. Hello. How would you like to sit in my 2D animation lesson for today? So when we're thinking about environments and we're thinking about the way that we want to make things move, a lot of the times in our character design class, we're just dealing with a character on a plain white background. The next thing that we need to start thinking about is the way that we are planning our environment. So I created Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, and I redid it as a digital painting here. And I didn't try to make it exactly like the original painting. I wanted to have some fun with it and showcase the parts that I really like. And then I'm going to open up After Effects. And what After Effects does is remembers everything, all the ways that I had my layers in Photoshop, and then I can go ahead and animate them. So each of my layers have what's called a keyframe, where I have them doing certain things, whether it's swaying, moving, and just playing with the way that it can adjust on here. So over here, all my different layers are here. And I have the moon starting to rise, the sky glowing. So the idea of a puppet tool is that these are the anchor points that we are going to use to make it move or to hold its spot. So I'm going to move this off to 6 seconds, and then I'm going to grab this one, and you can see how this stretches and bends and moves and sways. And this is so that I can make it sway and give it a little bit of movement here. And this is giving that organic feel of it. If you stretch it out too much, it becomes weird, but you can kind of see how this works. The thing with animation is that, yes, you can make things really exaggerated and have them move lots and lots of ways, but sometimes the subtleties are the things that are really neat. And this is a simple way to do some motion graphics.
So you've mentioned you like to break stereotypes in art. Why is that so important for you?
There wasn't anyone that looked like me, sounded like me out there, and it was really lonely. And I don't think it's because I'm a Black female, it's just I think everyone feels that way, and whatever kind of story they're going through, they don't see themselves reflected. And now that I'm in this bigger role, not just here, but being a mom, making sure my kid sees herself in everything, and that this is not a world for her, that this is a world for her, and that she's invited to play along and play with others, and that's really important.
So how has Kalamazoo's arts community maybe influenced your creative approach, or what do you just think of the art scene in the city?
I feel like Kalamazoo really cares about the arts. With the Arts Council and all the different things that we do in our Kalamazoo community, it's a really fun place that respects the arts.
So in your 18 years that you've been just at KVCC, correct? What do you feel like has been the most interesting part of your journey in those years?
Watching how the gatekeepers are shifting and changing. And I'm not talking about necessarily people, I'm talking about the software and the hardware. When way back when you'd have to go to a big studio to make an animation, and that maybe in your senior year of grad school you would get to be able to do an animation. But now we have iPads, we have these computers that can help build your own games. So watching all that technology change to make the gatekeeping kind of disintegrate and fall apart has been my favorite part of watching how technology and art has changed over these years.
All right, so we got a little tour before we started. Can you kind of tell us about some of the KVCC, Applied Arts and Media Technologies programs that you guys offer?
Yeah, it's a really great series of programs that are trying to help people who are interested in the creative world to have a job in the creative world. So there's graphic design, illustration, animation, game art, multimedia video, and web design. So each of those are different types of concentrations. And the great thing about Kalamazoo Valley is that I think with a community college, this is a really great place for, I don't know what I want to do, so try it out here. And there's some who they already know, and I'm like, well, great, get those foundations done, and then go off to that four-year school. But I like to always think of this place as a place where they can try, and that you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to have all the best drawing skills. That's my job, is to try to help you build the best kind of portfolio you can for the types of stories you want to tell.
Be sure to find us on YouTube and Instagram. Exclusive videos, extended content, and behind-the-scenes pictures. Just search Kalamazoo Lively Arts.